Looks like next we are going to be moving on to Todd. Todd, if you can unmute yourself, would love to connect with you, brother. And we're all going to get a chance to benefit as we go through this game together. So thank you for being on tonight. And Todd, are you there?
I'm here. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, brother. Welcome, welcome. Again, I'm going to ask, are you comfortable going through your financials with everyone else here so that we can create a game plan?
Yeah, sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, very cool. Looks like right now you're pulling in about $100,000 a year at your job that is called retired. So you're kind of done working for right now, is that right?
I am done as of April 8th, last Monday.
April, well, dude, I feel like we should like throw a party for you, man. Dude, that's awesome. Come on, guys, put your hands together for Todd. I mean, that's pretty cool. I like it. Let's see what we can do here together. So first of all, tell me a little bit about what you've kind of set aside for retirement between 401k, IRA, and some things like that.
So I have a 401k. I'm actually able to take that 401k fully. I can, close it out that I'm leaving, AT&T. I also have a pension that I have the option of taking in a lump sum.
Okay. Can you break down the numbers on the pension and the 401k, how much they are?
401k is about 200,000, pensions about 300,000 if I take the loan.
Yeah, and AT&T is like one of the last of the dinosaurs to provide something called a pension. That's very cool that you have that. It's very,
that's
very
based
rare.
on years of service. I've been there. I was there a very long time. So
Yeah.
they don't offer that now. If I hadn't got in, I would not have a pension available.
Well, cool for you, brother. I love that. And then other than 401k and pension, any other assets that I should be aware of?
I own a couple of properties. I own a home here in Tampa, Florida, and I do also have another investment property, a vacation home on the beautiful island of Aruba.
Aruba. Someone got ready for retirement. And then your own primary residence, is that the one in Tampa or is it different?
No, that's it. That's the one in Tampa. Correct.
So the one in Tampa, what's it valued at?
Right now, about $500,000.
And what do you owe on it?
About $220,000, maybe.
And then Aruba, what's that one worth?
That one's about $300,000.
And then what do you owe on it?
That one's paid for.
Okay, that one's paid off. Okay, cool. And as a vacation rental, how long have you had it?
That one about a year now.
Okay, and how's it performing?
It could be doing better. I do Airbnb, but not as often as I could.
Okay.
But let's probably get into Airbnb that a lot more.
Got it. Did you buy it because you were hoping in the off season to be able to use it a little bit?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. I like it. And then, you're 1 year in. If you now had to guess between high and low seasons, if Ruby even has that, what would you guess you're going to make a year in profit on it? Do you have that number?
Let's say $50,000.
So everyone, I want you to watch the math that I'm going to do here. I'm going to calculate the ROI. The ROI is based on the return divided by the total in and then times 100. And so, what we're doing is I'm taking a look at the cash on cash and I'm asking myself, is this an investment that I think is smart and intelligent just based on the options of what I know? So if he's making $50,000 a year, we divide.
And that's low. That's actually low end, but we'll say 50,000.
Good. Let's do it based on low end. And it's based on 300,000 out of pocket to get up and going roughly.
Right.
That's basically earning a cash on cash of around 17%. And if that's on low end, he might be closer to 20. I'm going to tell you by way of vacation rentals, this vacation rental is actually for a cash on cash is actually performing pretty well.
Okay.
And
good.
A lot of vacation rentals don't end up performing very well. Because it is performing that well, there's a part of me that would love to take, honestly, some of the money out of it, like $150,000, and actually have it half mortgaged. Because if I took half the money out and I bought another home in Aruba, then I would have a net higher cash flow and overall net greater growth. So once you start getting things more than half paid off, you start losing performance on the ROI. And again, I like to pay things off once we end up having all the passive income. Because right now into retirement, with the annual income of $100,000 a year, is that the retirement number that you want to have for retirement?
Yes.
And is that what's coming in right now?
No.
Okay. The pension, you said that you could take it lump sum. What is it scheduled to kick off every month for you or every year?
About $2,600.
A year.
Oh, a year?
Yes.
Well, 2,600 times the 12.
And does that ever eat into any of the principal?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Okay, well, I'm going to do some math for you guys. So he has a pension for $300,000, and a financial planner typically cannot get performance of greater than 4%, which means that it's going to be bringing in $12,000 a year or $1,000 a month. So if he's actually getting $2,600 off of it, that's equivalent to earning like 10% on the money, and he's not earning 10%. So either it's a funky pension program, or every month if he takes $2,600 out, the $300,000 shrinks, and eventually it's going to be gone.
Well, actually, the 2,600, I haven't taken it yet.
Yeah.
The 600 is if I take the monthly.
Yep.
Annuity.
So I don't.
1,000 if I take the lump sum.
Yes, and what I'm telling you is they're figuring out when they think you're going to die, because
Right.
if they only gave you based off of the annuity, they wouldn't touch the $300,000 of principal and would only kick off $1,000 a month. So what they're doing is they're saying, we think we know when you might kick the bucket-ish. I apologize for speaking so candidly. And then what they're going to do is they say, well, he probably needs more than $1,000 a month. Let's give him $2,600 a month. But that means there's $1,600 a month actually coming off of that $300,000. So if we run a little bit of math on that, 187, that means that sometime in the next 7-8 years, that 300,000 is going to get whittled down to nothing, and the principal is going to be gone.
Right.
So when you take a look at that, it's like, well, you don't know when you're going to die. Are you in good health? Geez, we're having these conversations.
Yeah, as of right now.
Yeah, you're in great health. I imagine you think you're going to probably live longer than 7, 8, or 9 years, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so the pension is going to run out. So what you want to do is you want to ask yourself, all right, how do I get cash flow off of this pension, but how do I expand and grow it to make sure that I have enough money? You might say, well, I'm going to eat the pension over the next decade and take that $2,600 a month. And Aruba's paying me $50,000 a year, so let's just call that $4,000 a month on average. So I'm not at $100,000 a year necessarily yet. Maybe my spouse is still working, but I got to take, like, for example, that 401k, and I got to put that into real estate, because while I'm eating off of this account, I actually need to grow this account so that when time passes, I can then eat off of that account. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So, right now you've got some equity in your home, but really it's just a matter of, what do I do with the pension? What do I do with the 401k? Because your financial planner is going to want to annuitize both of them. And if you take that $500,000, we multiply it by the 0.04 rule, it's going to produce for you $1,600 a month. And that plus Social Security plus Aruba, my guess is that's going to financially feel a little bit tight. True or false?
True.
Yeah. So that means that you can't, this is for Todd, a super important decision. If he just allows his financial planner to allow him to eat the interest plus some of the principal, a time will come when it's all gone. And there's nothing that you don't want to wake up in 8 or 9 years from now and have no money and be like, oh, I'm even less employable than I was 8 years earlier. I'm older, modern medicine's keeping me alive longer, but I ran out of money. And so my ultimate advice is that some of the pension and 401k, you need to live off of it and eat off of it, but some of it you got to invest, and you actually got to give yourself some time in the market to actually grow a higher overall net worth. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How much time are we talking?
Well, you tell me. How long are you going to live?
Well, hopefully, let's say another 40 years.
Yeah. So really, what you want to do as you move into retirement is what I would recommend is that you find a way to minimize your lifestyle for the first 5 years. And say, okay, well, how can I kind of simplify my life a little bit, because my money is not done growing. I need to grow my nest egg longer. And if you take a look at your overall net worth, it's about $1 million. Aruba, here, I would write these down. I would be looking at pulling $150,000 out of Aruba. That's equivalent to 3 homes. When I take a look at your pension, if you want it to annuitize for a decade and pull $2,600 out of it, then I would take the 401k and I look at that as 4 more homes. Now we're at 7. And then if you needed to, you could even look at Tampa, and it's like, okay, home equity line, 80% of the 500, 400, I could pull out 180,000. That's another 3 homes. So without touching the pension, we're now sitting at about 10 properties that you could do. And 10 properties over the next decade, that can grow into a couple $1 million. And so while you're waiting for your pension to do its spend down, living off some of the Aruba money, it's like, okay, I got to find a way to get more. I got to get the majority of my money still growing for me because it hasn't matured enough. I haven't grown enough of it. I worked long enough to grow it to $1 million. I kind of needed it to grow to 3 million. So I got to leave as much of my money not in the market producing 6%. I got to get it into real estate producing these 25 and 30 and 35% returns. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I've done some real estate investing over the years. That's how I was actually able to buy the house in Aruba. I sold 2 properties once the market went up. I had some real estate sitting out there. I was getting ROI every month about $500 on each property, and I figured the investment would be better in Aruba. Plus, I was looking for a vacation home. Yeah. So I sold those properties and I bought the house in Aruba.
Well, and the $50,000 or $60,000 a year, that's probably one of the most, like that real estate did one of the most important decisions for your financial future. Now it's just now we just got to multiply that and we got to do more of that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So by the way, first of all, you are in a good spot. And everyone, if you can do me a favor, put your hands together for Todd. He's got options. That's the most important thing, is that you actually realize, okay, I've got options. And it's just a question of, how am I going to cut this pizza up, and how am I going to basically make these decisions so that I can produce what I want? Certainly, Todd, you're in a good spot. And I think some of what we could do together could be some excellent diversification. So it's like, okay, how do I live off of some of what I got, but how do I get the rest growing way more aggressively? Because I don't want to stop at 2 or 3 million. If you want to work 40 more years, we got to get you to like $5 and $8 and $10 million. That way you can live off of the interest real estate provides without eating the principal. And right now with the annuity, what you're being pitched by your financial planner is to eat the interest and the principal. And that means that it's going to get spent down and you live 40 more years. That's going to become a massive problem. So whereas you just retired a week ago, you're about to make the most important decision of your life, which is, and this is the one thing that I want to invite, like if there's only one thing you get out of this conversation, please write this down. Don't touch the principal. If you start touching the principal to supplement your livelihood, then you can calculate the moment of time you'll be completely out of money. And when it eats away, it gets faster, faster, faster until all of a sudden you're out. So you're about to make a really important decision.
Oh, yes. Yep, that I'm aware.
Awesome, Todd. Listen, thank you for being so open. You did a really great job, brother. I want to invite, if you have more questions, or the team here, drop some questions that you have on either of these game plans or even your personal ones. And that, my friend, is what we call a game plan. It's basically me stepping into your shoes and saying, hey, if I woke up as you and I had to make millions of dollars as quickly as possible, how would I do it? Well, that is your game plan. And if you would like your own custom game plan, click the link below and request a free game plan today. Let me and a member of my team reach out to you and give you a Kris Krohn certified game plan to find out when you can retire and how quick we can make it happen.